A man sat on the side of a dusty road. For 4 decades, he hunched over the exact same wooden chest, holding out his hand, asking anyone who walked by for spare change. Day in and day out, he scraped together just enough copper and silver to survive. He never once thought to examine the rotting wood he rested on. One morning, the man didn't wake up. The local villagers cleared his meager belongings and decided to drag the heavy, decaying box out of the street. The rusted lock gave way. When they pried the lid open, they didn't find old clothes or blankets. The chest was overflowing with precious gems and heavy gold coins. For 40 winters, that man shivered in the cold. He starved. He begged for scraps to stay alive, all while physically resting his body on a king's ransom. The gold was right there, inches from his skin. But because he lacked the simple awareness that it existed beneath him, his physical proximity to the wealth offered exactly 0 value. It is easy to hear a story like that and pity the man's ignorance. But look closely at how we navigate our own daily routines. We spend our days pleading with the world around us. We beg our careers for a little more money. We beg our peers for validation. We beg our partners for a sense of security. Occasionally, the world drops a few coins into our palms. We get the promotion, the praise, the relationship. Yet within weeks or even days, that familiar, hollow ache of wanting always returns. We keep looking outward for something to fill the gap. And that relentless outward search is the exact mechanism keeping us blind to the completeness that already exists inside of us. A young student once heard this parable of the beggar and laughed, feeling intellectually superior to the fool. His teacher sat quietly across from him. The teacher asked a simple question. If the student was so much wiser, why was his mind frantically running toward the next weekend, the next paycheck, or the next momentary thrill? Every time you look to the outside world for happiness, you are broadcasting a specific belief. You are declaring that, on the inside, you are poor. The act of searching creates the lack. By hunting for joy, you convince your own mind that something is missing. To explain this physical reality, the teacher walked his student down to the edge of a fast-moving, turbulent river. He told the student to lean over the bank and find his face in the water. The student tried, but the constant churning and the chaotic ripples shattered the reflection, turning the image into unrecognizable slivers of light. We can visualize the cognitive equivalent here. The human mind operates like this chaotic, oscillating waveform, agitated by constant streams of thoughts, desires, and anxieties, completely obscuring the perfect, solid geometric shape positioned beneath it. This continuous mental static masks what ancient philosophers called the Atman, your true, underlying self. That true self is never actually destroyed or missing. When the surface-level agitation stops completely, the underlying structure remains entirely intact and perfectly clear. You cannot fix a shattered reflection by plunging your hands into the water and trying to smooth the waves. The only way to see the image is to let the water become perfectly still. Discovering inner peace requires 0 acquisition. There are no steps to take, and there is absolutely nothing new you need to add to your life. Opening the box of your own mind requires total inaction. It happens the moment you drop all external desires. Joy and completeness are not reactions to good events. They form the mind's baseline, default state when it is left completely undisturbed. In the exact fraction of a second the relentless search stops, the experience of inner wealth immediately takes over. The day you finally stop seeking is the day you recognize you were always sitting on the treasure. You were never a beggar to begin with.